Breaking news live now coming up on 208. I'm Eric Lance Croner. A news conference just about beginning now from the Camden County Prosecutor on the arrest of a couple accused of imprisoning and abusing an 18-year-old woman. Let's listen in.
On Saturday, May 10th, the Camden County Prosecutor's Office Special Victims Unit and the Gloucester Township Police Department learned that an 18-year-old female victim had been held captive and sexually abused in her home for years. During our investigation, the victim advised that 38-year-old Brenda Spencer and 41-year-old Brandon Mosley had been abusing her since approximately 2018, and that shortly thereafter, at Brenda Spencer's direction, she was removed from school prior to entering the 7th grade and confined to her home, which helped to hide the heinous, years-long torture that she suffered. The victim stated that she was forced to live in a dog crate for approximately 1 year and let out only periodically. The victim also advised that she was later forced to live in a padlocked bathroom while being chained up. She stated that she would be let out of the bathroom only when family visited the residence. At other times, she was forced to live in a bare room with just a bucket to use instead of a toilet. She explained the bare room had an alarm system that would alert the defendants, Brandon Mosley, and Brenda Spencer, if she tried to leave. She reported she was beaten with a belt and sexually abused by Mosley. The abuse occurred for years until she escaped the residence on Thursday, May 8th. She was assisted by a neighbor. She later disclosed the abuse, which was reported to law enforcement. What this young woman survived was absolutely horrific. After speaking with the victim, our detectives searched the residence and found that the victim was subjected to living in squalid, filthy conditions alongside numerous animals, dogs, chinchillas, and other animals. Detectives also learned that a 13-year-old young female who lived in the home was also removed from school years earlier at Spencer's direction. Both girls were allegedly homeschooled. For homeschooling in New Jersey, parents are only required to notify the school district of their intent to homeschool. There is no requirements by the New Jersey Department of Education to follow up or to confirm attendance records, minimum instructional time, subjects, or testing. Homeschooling may be the right choice for many families. Unfortunately, it can be used by others as a means to hide abuse. In this case, both Spencer and Mosley were charged on Sunday, May 11th with the following charges. 1 count of first-degree kidnapping, 1 count of second-degree conspiracy to commit kidnapping, 1 count of second-degree aggravated assault, 5 counts of second-degree endangering the welfare of a child through abuse and neglect, 1 count of third-degree criminal restraint, 1 count of third-degree aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, 1 count of third-degree possession of a weapon for unlawful purpose, 1 count of fourth-degree unlawful possession of a weapon. Mosley was also charged with the additional offenses: 2 counts of first-degree aggravated sexual assault, 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault, 1 count of second-degree endangering the welfare of a child by sexual contact. On Sunday, May 11th, Spencer and Mosley were both taken into custody at their residence in Gloucester Township. Both were remanded to the Camden County Correctional Facility. Their detentions are scheduled for this Friday, May 16th at 9 a.m. in Superior Court.
Prosecutor, can you talk about the escape and how lucky this teenager is to be out of this situation now, and what that escape was like, and how lucky they were that a neighbor was involved?
She was extremely fortunate, extremely fortunate. At this time, we're not just on Friday.
Prosecutor, are you able to explain the relation between this victim and the 2 individuals who've been charged?
Yes. The female is the mother. The male is the stepfather.
Is the female the mother of both those young girls? Another question just about the timeline leading up to police being involved.
Yes.
I don't know if the chief wants to speak on this. I talked to the person that was assisting her, the neighbor, and then he said that he called 211 first for crisis intervention, then called 911 on Thursday, and police did did not assist him at the Wawa. And instead, he had to bring the 18-year-old girl to a rehab facility, ultimately one that had some affiliation with Jefferson in South Jersey. Are you able to confirm any of those details?
Chief, I'll let you
Or what police contact was made?
So, first I'll say this is one of the most despicable cases that I've ever run across. We were first notified by this individual who had the girl on that Thursday evening. Police did respond. They responded and spoke with the girl, took statement information. However, she did not disclose all of this abuse that was later. It was reported to us that it was a domestic violence type of situation. However, she did not want to disclose all this information. She did not disclose this information about being held to this level. We did send officers to the house. The house went at that time on Thursday evening. An investigation was conducted. However, we're limited on the amount of area that we can go and search and whatnot. And without a corroborating victim, there's only so much we could do. We offered her services. We gave her some resources at that time. She was looking for homeless services. However, she was going to stay with this neighbor that was assisting. But that all built up into the case that we're here for today. So while we did investigate and we're looking at everything, believe me, we always want to see that we missed something. This case has been thoroughly reviewed. No information to this level was disclosed to us until that Saturday when they called the police again, which led us to where we are today.
What happened on May 8th that precipitated the victim into wanting to escape?
Yeah, I can't get into the details of how that happened that night. Further details will be related at the detention hearing and further procedures. But that evening she was at a Wawa with a subject. That's where we initially responded to. We spoke to officers, spoke to her that night. Other officers responded to the residents to conduct an investigation. She was offered domestic violence services, which she declined at that time, and the investigation was turned over for follow-up. But again, she did not pursue. We offered her the services. She did not indicate the level of abuse that was. We later found out when we were called again on Saturday night.
How did the victim come into contact with the neighbor after escaping the house?
I'm sorry, say that again.
How did the victim come into contact with the neighbor after escaping the house?
Yeah, I don't have those details, and I don't believe we're ready to release that information.
Can you describe the health and mental well-being of this 18-year-old and her 13-year-old sister? 7 years of being held captive? What does that do? Was there any malnutrition? Was there any signs of being weakened and the mental capacity of these two individuals? And how many and what types of dogs did you find? What was the breed of the dogs?
As you can imagine, anyone who's been confined for a period of 7 years, held in these conditions, living in squalid filth, is going to be damaged psychologically, physically, emotionally, mentally. And as you also can appreciate, when it comes to cases involving child endangerment and child abuse and sexual assault, confidentiality to protect the victims is paramount. So we're limited in all the details. More details will absolutely be forthcoming at the detention hearing.
And what type of dogs and how many dogs did you find in the property?
I don't know the exact, but I do know they were there were some Great Danes, large dogs, and there was some pet equipment and stuff like that was around that was for that type of breed. Large dogs, though.
What's
So
the
how big
status
was
of the
the age
13-year-old
that
sister?
she said she lived in? Yeah.
Both children are safe right now.
Can you reveal details about the size of the cage that this victim says she was kept in?
Yeah, like I said, it was for a Great Dane, so I don't have the exact measurements, but they were large enough to fit a Great Dane, which we know is a large breed of dog.
And I'm sorry if you already said this and I missed it, but did she give details about exactly how she escaped? Did she climb out of a window? Did she break out?
No, we're not. I don't believe we're ready to release those details at this time.
So when you say held captive for approximately 7 years or so, was there any exiting of the house? Were they living any bit of a normal life, going to anything outside of the home?
The children are you referring to?
Yeah.
Not that we're aware of, no.
So they were just there for 7 years inside that house?
Confined, yes.
Are there any plans to try to change the laws or rules on homeschooling and reporting these kinds of incidents, or what can be done?
Well, clearly there are flaws in the current educational system. This has been the law in the state of New Jersey for decades. That really is outside of our purview because it's not criminal law, but certainly this case proves there's need to revamp and revisit those laws.
Had there been any prior complaints from neighbors about this residence in this township?
There was not.
And how
Want
long
me to add
did
to
they-
that?
Yeah.
So we had no indication anything about any child abuse. We've had some. We had some animal complaints in the past, but nothing to this level. Nothing. No domestic violence types calls that we are aware of. But just barking dogs, which were handled. Again, they were found to be legal and not charged. But those we've had some animal complaints from neighbors and whatnot.
Do you know how long they lived at the residence? They lived there?
I do not.
Definitely since 2019. Prior to that, I don't have information at this time, but definitely since 2019.
Not seeing a teenager for years, was there any inquiry by family members, anyone officially or not, where is this girl? She's just seemed to be non-existent for 7 years.
Not that was brought to law enforcement's attention.
How long has the couple been together?
I do not know that. I just want to amend one statement. The girls lived in that residence since 2018.
Which family members came to visit and the girl was let out of the dog crate?
I'm sorry, I don't have that information as well.
Prosecutor, I'm sorry, I don't know if you're a parent. Had you had a chance to wrap your head around this? Just what is your thought as a mom seeing this? I think most of us could say this is pretty incredulous what we're reading.
100%. I am a parent. To me, this is the most abhorrent, heinous crime anyone could commit. You see criminals all over the country doing horrific, horrible acts, whether it's physical or sexual abuse. When it comes at the hands of a parent to a child, there's nothing worse.
You said you found the dogs, there was no signs of abuse. Is it safe to say she took better care of her Great Danes than she did her children?
I'm not prepared to say that at this time, but it certainly was concerning about the animals' care, again, when we heard this. Also want to just reiterate that at the time that we encountered her on this Thursday night, she's an 18-year-old adult, right? And we're not aware of any of abuse that she brought up to us as a child. So that's why when we say we referred her for domestic violence service, she's conveyed to us that she was having some kind of disagreement or threat from her father that was unable to be proven for criminal charges and whatnot. I'd also just say that we did, as part of the investigation, confirm with the Gloucester Township Public School District that they were, in fact, the parents had removed them. The school district has cooperated with us completely, and they followed all the proper procedures. But as the prosecutor said, we're very concerned about this abusive person, this type of abuse happening under the guise of homeschooling.
And what Wawa did you meet her at?
It's located at 800 Black Horse Pike in Blackwood.
Are you able to say which school she was withdrawn from prior to 7th grade?
No, I'm not. I don't believe we're able to. She was in the Gloucester Township Public School District, though.
Just to clear on the timeline, from the time from the Thursday to Saturday, she never went back to the home?
I don't have that information. I can't say for sure whether she went back to return or not, but I don't have that information.
Do you know just what sort of motivated them to go this far with the abuse, or which of the adult figures, thought of it and sort of devised the confinement for this child?
We really don't.
And do you know if the 13-year-old was aware of the abuse of the other?
At this time, we're really not in a position to disclose that information.
Can you describe the alarm system, that if you found the alarm system, or was that just something that she had mentioned if she tried to leave that bedroom? What kind of an alarm system was it?
As I know, and correct me, the detectives that are handled that are here, as it was described to me, it was kind of like a contact alarm on the door that made some kind of audible alarm sound if the contact broke by opening the door, similar to what you would have on your own home burglar alarm system. Is that correct?
Yes. All right, guys, thanks for coming. I'll be hanging around if you have any more specifics you want to try to get into. Again, the detention hearing is Friday. More details will come out of that as we present our arguments in court. And if there's any change to the date, we'll let you know. I'll check in on the courtroom and judge, so that those that want to send cameras will be able to do so.
Thank you.
Will that be live streamed court?
Superior Court generally does, correct.
If you're just joining us, following breaking news, a news conference by the Camden County Prosecutor's Office. The prosecutor describing what a victim, an 18-year-old, endured and said it was heinous, years-long torture, 7 years worth. She called it the most abhorrent, heinous crime that anyone could commit. Police calling this one of the most despicable cases they've ever come across. So this case involves an 18-year-old female victim. Prosecutors say she had been held captive and sexually abused for years. On the screen right now, the two people arrested and charged here: Brenda Spencer, the mother, and Brandon Mosley, the stepfather, who the victim told police had been abusing her since 2018. Both of these individuals you're looking at right now have been charged with a laundry list of offenses, charges here including first-degree kidnapping, second-degree aggravated assault, criminal restraint, and that's just a few of them that both of them face together. Mosley, the stepfather, is also charged with aggravated sexual assault and other sexual offenses. Now, we turn back the clock here. We talk about when they think this happened. The victim, who's now 18, was pulled out of 6th grade. So this has been going on allegedly for years. And the prosecutor also spoke about cases of kids being pulled out of school for homeschooling to hide abuse, and said clearly, she was asked by one of the reporters about whether or not laws need to be updated, reflecting that something this heinous could have happened. And she said clearly they need to take a second look at the laws in a situation like this. As for what exactly this now 18-year-old endured, the prosecutor says that she was forced to live in a dog crate for a year, was then padlocked in a bathroom, and at other times was placed in a bare room with only a bucket to relieve herself. And that room, you probably just heard this right toward the tail end of the news conference, that room had an alarm system on it. So if she tried to get out, open a door, Mosley and her mother were basically notified. Other things that she allegedly endured: beaten with a belt, and again, we mentioned this, sexually abused. The victim escaped May 8th, and again, I just want to stress what the prosecutor said she endured here. She said what this woman survived was absolutely horrific. They described the conditions in that room, the room that was that had the alarm system on it, said that she was living in squalid filth among large dogs. Police chief describing Great Danes, so it gives you an idea of the size of the dog crate that she was forced to live in as well. But said living among large dogs, chinchillas, other animals, and just filth. Just the details of this case are hard to wrap your mind around. Keep it right here on News 12 New Jersey. We're going to continue to follow this story for you, and we'll have a full report coming up at 5 o'clock. You're watching News 12 New Jersey. Breaking news right now. News continues in a moment.
Time and Temperature is brought to you by Ramsey Mazda. Visit us at RamseyMazda.com. Choose wisely. Choose Ramsey Mazda.
Ford Thunderbolt 12. Real-time Real-time, street-level weather updates.
Looking at this damage, this is a possible tornado on the ground.
The skies have opened, a preview of what we can expect.
We'll be in Thunderbolt 12, keeping you safe throughout the storm.
On the road for your safety. Trust Ford Thunderbolt 12. Get the latest headlines on the News 12 stories that could impact your day, delivered right to your inbox. Sign up now. To sign up, just scan the QR code or go to news12.com/newsletter now.
Get ready to live life better. Watch Be Well every weekday on News 12 and discover the latest ways to reach your wellness goals. From health to food to finance and everything in between. We'll bring you life hacks, get you expert advice, and even show you easy, effective home workouts. Live life better. Watch Be Well weekdays on News 12 and start to live life better.
All new adventures are blooming on the East End.
Spring is a great time to explore the people, places, and activities that make Long Island's East End such a popular destination.
Let's go.
From relaxing retreats and must-try dining experiences to fun family outings and unique ways to enjoy the great outdoors.
Well, we always say that we have the sweetest job, and this right here is the proof.
Watch the East End, Saturday and Sunday at 9:30 a.m. only on News 12. Get the latest headlines on the News 12 stories that could impact your day, delivered right to your inbox. Sign up now. To sign up, just scan the QR code or go to news12.com/newsletter now. Ford Thunderbolt 12. Real-time, street-level weather updates.
Looking at this damage, this is a possible tornado on the ground.
The skies have opened, a preview of what we can expect.
We'll be in Thunderbolt 12, keeping you safe throughout the storm.
On the road for your safety. Trust Ford Thunderbolt 12. News 12 New York, now streaming live 24/7 on the Roku channel.
I'm Eric Lance-Kerner. Breaking and beyond disturbing news this afternoon. The Camden County Prosecutor just a short time ago detailing what she calls the most abhorrent, heinous crime anyone could commit here. An 18-year-old female victim held captive and sexually abused for years, 7 years. Now let's take a look at the people charged, announced today. The people charged are Brenda Spencer on the left-hand side. This is the victim's mother, and Brandon Mosley, the stepfather, who the prosecutor and the victim says had been abusing this teenage girl since 2018. What we know, again, we're still gathering details, but based on the news conference moments ago, some of the information that we learned is that this 18-year-old was taken out of school in 6th grade under the guise, according to the prosecutor's office, of being homeschooled and then being forced to stay in a dog crate, apparently meant for a Great Dane, for a period of about a year. Then after that was padlocked inside of a bathroom, and then after that, for a period of time, had been living in a room that was set up with an alarm system. The prosecutor's office and police saying that inside that room, it was just squalid filth. There were dogs, again, Great Danes living there, as well as chinchillas, and just overall filth. This victim, alleged victim, escaped on May 8th. And that led to the arrest of the two people you see on your screen right there. Let's take a listen very quickly to some of what was said in the news conference.
The victim stated that she was forced to live in a dog crate for approximately 1 year and let out only periodically. The victim also advised that she was later forced to live in a padlocked bathroom while being chained up. She stated that she would be let out of the bathroom only when family visited the residence. At other times, she was forced to live in a bare room with just a bucket to use instead of a toilet.
It's hard to hear and hard to take it all in. Also, according to police and the prosecutors, there's a 13-year-old who was living in the house as well. Again, charges now filed against both the mother and the stepfather in particular. Among the charges he's facing are aggravated sexual assault. We are going to continue to follow this story out of Gloucester Township for you.